welcome back to another episode of We Roguelike It Ranking. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpeer.
Hello, scientists.
And our third scientist seat for his very first ranking is Monkey Sr.
Hello.
We're going to be ranking 20XX. You're watching the video version here. We're looking at the normal Trello ranking. And to be added here is 20XX. We still... What's up?
These lucky viewers might be looking at the Trello ranking, but me and Monkey, we gotta look at the spreadsheet like a bunch of noobs.
Yeah, you look at the raw data. I'm showing the pretty stuff.
Oh, okay. You're doing the presentation.
Yeah, as you know, the executive summary for everyone at home. We get to see the raw data. So let's go over our list because we still don't have a ton of games in here. Starting from the bottom to the top, Sunless Sea, Cave Blazers, Riddled Corpses EX, Prey, Mooncrash, The Swords of Ditto, which we're calling Swords of Ditto Classic at this point, Darkest Dungeon, Crypt of the Necrodancer, and top of the pile still, Hand of Fate. So, let's start at...
Just before we continue, I could see the spite in Monkey's face when you said Cave Blazer's name second. I could see his frown just go...
Fighting for it to just pull it up the list. Yeah. All right, so let's start 20XX. Is 20XX better than Sunless Sea?
Yes.
I think yes.
I would agree. Boop. Is 20XX better than Cave Blazers?
See, this is where things get fun, because I would say yes.
I would say yes. Okay. Is 20XX better than Riddled Corpses EX?
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. It's easy so far. Is 20XX better than Prey Mooncrash?
Yes.
I have to defer to you guys because I still haven't played it yet.
I would say yes. The part of the hard thing here is I think they both play really well, but I think the amount of content that 20XX has puts it for me just over Prey Mooncrash.
It's that, and for me it's also the fact that this is a game from the ground up designed to be the way it is, whereas whether we want to admit it or not, Prey Mooncrash is essentially just an asset flip to make it a roguelike, essentially.
Right. Still good, but not...
That's not good. That's a great game. Prey Mooncrash is a great game.
Is 20XX better than The Swords of Ditto?
This is where I stop. This is where, for me, 20XX goes right here. Because I think Swords of Ditto is an incredible game. Sorry, correction. Swords of Ditto Classic is an incredible game.
Yes.
I think it's more my kind of game than 20XX is. We talked about it on the show proper. I have zero nostalgia for Mega Man.
Right.
And I have 120,000% nostalgia for the old Zelda games.
Yes. Yeah.
So Ditto Classic to me speaks to me on a level that this doesn't. And they've both got a lot in them. They've both got a whole, like, hundreds and hundreds of hours of gameplay. They both control well. Maybe Swords is a little too slow. But in the same way, I could say that 20XX is maybe a little too fast when you've got 17 speed upgrades and you hit the jump button and you're halfway across the map.
You just fly out of bounds.
You know, for me, it stops right here. It goes right to Swords of Ditto, and then Swords of Ditto transforms and then stops it from going any further.
What do you think, Monkey?
I think 20XX is better. Because,
Then Swords?
Yeah, Swords of Ditto. I just lost my train of thought. It's because it has all the items in the beginning. Just the sheer amount of them, I think that beats out Swords. Because if you think about how many different items there are in Swords, there isn't, or to me, there's not that many. Like,
that's true. Yeah, those like toys of whatever.
Yeah, a bunch of the toys, they kind of cross over each other in terms of use. Like for when I was playing Swords, there were only like 3 toys that I would use, and then the rest of them, like, I would only use in their particular dungeons.
Right.
The other ones were just so useful.
Yeah, it's like when I discovered the Giant Conqueror, and I was like, this is a sword. This is a toy that I'm going to use for the rest of the game, because the Giant Conqueror is ridiculous.
Right.
I mean, it's something that I think actually 20XX does better, is it gives you all of those items, and it gives you something that I think Sword struggles with, is it gives you a very clear progression path. You do a run, you get these chips, you use those chips to buy these permanent upgrades and items, and then on your next
Right.
run you can get further. It's the Isaac thing of, you unlock this will make you go further, or hinder you in some way in Isaac's case, because Isaac's a douchebag.
Right.
But it does do that progression really well, where you always feel like you are progressing, because you're always coming back and buying more items all of the time. So I do think that 20XX does have that progression a lot more nailed down than Swords did. Swords is very much a case of, you have one life, go play it. And then when
Right.
you die, we start the progression again from the beginning a little bit.
Yeah, and like re-pick up. Yeah, so I guess I'm the tiebreaker here. I think for me, 20XX is better than Swords of Ditto. I think because of what you were just talking about, Moon. I think the progression path is clearer. I think as you start unlocking more and more passives in 20XX, I feel like you start runs much more strong. Not only is your skill in the game getting stronger, but your character is starting stronger. And I think you do get that in Swords of Ditto, where you're leveling up your badge and you're leveling up some other stuff, but it doesn't feel as impactful as 20XX can.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think we'll put 20XX over Swords of Ditto, but they're like neck and neck, really.
Here is we come back to the Darkest Dungeon question now, though. The question that kept it where it was, it's the difficult question, which I don't know if you remember it, Monkey, but the question I had for Boston when he was determined to put Darkest Dungeon above Crypt of the Necrodancer was, it's a better game than Crypt of the Necrodancer, but is it a better roguelike than Crypt? So here is my question. Is 20XX a better roguelike than Darkest Dungeon?
That's tough, because I feel like 20XX is a really good strategy RPG with roguelike elements in it. I think 20XX is a really good platformer roguelike.
He meant Darkest Dungeon the first time.
Sorry, Darkest Dungeon. I just love Darkest Dungeon. I would say no, because of the breadth of content in Darkest Dungeon as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough one, though.
I actually would say yes.
Okay.
20X should go over Darkest Dungeon, because I feel like 20XX is more runnable.
Yes.
Because
yeah.
I kept wanting to go back to each run, like once I died, I'm like, okay, another run. But in Darkest Dungeon, each dungeon run, I felt like myself was going mad from
Right.
It's just so dark of a game. I mean,
and one run in Darkest Dungeon is like 20 to 40 hours. It's not just 30 minutes and then you die. You're I could buy that. What do you think, Moon?
As far I'm torn, because I love Darkest Dungeon, but I do think 20XX goes above it.
Okay. I will agree. 20XX is now in number 3. Is 20XX better than Crypt of the Necrodancer?
Nope.
Yeah, that's. I think 20XX stops there. I think that's easy, just because Crypt is just an incredible game.
We get the sequel soon.
Yeah, soon. Yeah, for coming out in June. Cadence of Hyrule. We'll
get that added
talk
to the
about
list.
add that to the list. Yeah.
Can we just play that for the next one?
Yeah,
It's gonna be out for the next one.
I'll just choose that for the next one. Yeah. All right, so 20XX ends up at number 3, beating out number 3 holdout Darkest Dungeon. Crypt of the Necrodancer is 2, and Hand of Fate still hanging in strong at number 1.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you everybody for listening and watching, and we'll see you next run. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.